I'm going to show you how to have the perfect amount of reverb every single time using one simple mathematical formula. Let's go. Okay, so as you can see, we're now in Logic Pro, and I've got just a simple rim percussive element here playing. And this is at 120 beats per minute, as you can see here. So what you want to do is obviously get a reverb. I'm using the Valhalla Supermassive, and it's a free reverb, one of the best ones out there, so I'd highly recommend this. So as you can see, this is at 120 beats per minute. And what you want to do is get a calculator and simply do 60,000. So I believe this is just the division of milliseconds, right? Because you think 60 seconds in a minute. So 60,000, and do divided by the tempo, so that's 120. If we do equals, we get 500. Now, this is what would go here on the delay, and all you have to do is just divide it by 2, and each time you divide, you're going to get different amounts of, say, quarter notes or eighth notes with your reverb. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to play this now with 500, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Right, now that's obviously a lot of reverb, so I'm going to make it a bit more realistic. So let's go ahead and divide by 2, and we obviously have 250. Probably don't need a calculator for that. So enter 250. So there's still going to be a lot of reverb, but let's see what this sounds like. So you can hear that the reverb tail is actually aligning on the note. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this by 2 again, so that would be 125 here. So you can see that reverb tail perfectly aligns by the time the next note hits. Let's go ahead and divide it by 2 one more time. This is probably as low as you'd want to go with reverb most of the time, around about. So 62.5. Okay, so this is the reverb at 125 on the delay, right? So let's hear this. Now, look what happens if I even just put it on, say, 140. Listen to the difference here. So that might not be super obvious to you, but okay. Okay, so I've put the mix down to 20% and I've kept it on 250 on the delay. Now listen to the difference when I do 250 and something like 270. Now we'll do 270. It's not super noticeable, but basically that tail is not aligning with the notes. Now, as always in music, there's really no rules. You can do whatever you want, and at the end of the day, if you think it sounds better with a certain reverb time, by all means, make sure you do that. Listen to your ear, trust your gut, trust your intuition. But this is really a mathematical formula that will help you align your reverb tails when using them on tracks or instruments. Just making sure that the reverb tail or the delay is on the grid, or say the quarter notes of the track and tempo that's being played. I've noticed a difference in my tracks and it just tends to sound a lot cleaner. But again, just make sure you experiment and try different things, but give it a go. So remember, it's just 60,000 divided by the tempo, and just keep dividing it by 2, and whichever division you prefer, just use that. So generally anything around 100 or so tends to sound good in my opinion. Once you get to like over 200, I would say that would be ideal for maybe a slower track where the track has more space to breathe. And a quick pro tip to save you time: every time I've created a new project and it's been a different tempo, I've simply done the formula and saved it, so I now have it in a preset, so I can just pull up, you know, if it's 146 BPM, I've got it here, 102. And again, I tend to keep the division of 2 when it's around the 100 or so on delay, rather than like 200 or 300 plus. So it's just a general rule of thumb, and just something that saved me a lot of time. As you can see, I've got plenty of different tempos here, and if I end up doing a new tempo, I'll just quickly do that division, save it, and then I have it there forever. So hopefully this is something that helps your workflow and just saves you time, because at the end of the day, if you want to do this stuff seriously and you just plan to create a lot of projects and tracks and songs, just small things like this can really save you a lot of time and just make your process a lot more efficient, which is really helpful. And it'll just save you time experimenting with tons of different reverb times and thinking, maybe it's not the right reverb, or I need to change a certain setting. Sometimes it could just be the fact that the tail end is just misaligned and it's not hitting where you want it to. So yeah, give that a go and let me know what you think. If you found this video helpful at all, then yeah, just make sure you give the video a like. You can always subscribe to see more, and yeah, until then, hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Blue Infinity.